Yo, it's your boy Rush in the building, promote my side hustle, Rush Enterprise. If you're in the state of New Jersey, you need armed guards or unarmed guards, just hit up my business line. Or you can hit me up on my Instagram or just email me. Today I got a special guest. Her company's name is Blactina Media. What up, Tina? Just let the people know who you are, give them an MO, and let them know what you about.
Hi, everybody. I'm the founder of Blactina Media. We amplify Afro Latino and Afro Caribbean narratives and film, TV, art. And I've worked with a number of studios, production companies. I started out as an actor, and then when I moved to LA, I moved kind of behind the scenes, partly because of the lack of representation within film and the lack of the ability to move up the film TV universe. So I started Blactina to have more representation for myself and for the work I do as a filmmaker. And yeah, so check me out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Yeah.
Word, it's a pleasure to have you here today, man. My first question for you is, I know you did some work with, I think you did some work with Netflix or whatever, but what were some of the limitations that you had to deal with, in Dominican Republic, and also when you was in Mexico, you also informed your audience that there was like an actual studio from Netflix within Mexico. You want to break that down?
Okay, wait. What's the first question?
Um, in one of your videos, you said there was some limitations dealing with Netflix, I guess, within Dominican Republic. That's why you
Oh
migrated to
yeah,
Mexico or whatever.
with Netflix
So,
in the Dominican Republic. Um, no, there was actually another studio. It was not Netflix.
okay, okay, okay.
But do you want to just know like about the experience, like having being an Afro Latina in Hollywood and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. So what led me to start Blactina also was just interest in shifting the way Afro Latinx people were perceived on screen. I thought it would change the way we were treated in the real world. And the problem is people, when they think of a Black person in the United States, they think of somebody who's African American and or maybe somebody from the continent, a continental African. So folks didn't really get that there was this nuanced Blackness in Latin America, and maybe there weren't as many connections like on on I'm on StreamYard and got kicked off, but I'm coming back. Okay. Oh wait. Okay.
yeah, with little technical difficulties.
Okay, cool. So the issue that I was having with my work is that the African American community was still just not aware with the Afro Latino community, like culturally. So the issue I was having an issue with this production company because when it came to the script, they were having them talk. I was like, okay, now these people sound white. Like it's like we don't speak like that. And I didn't realize so many people were unaware of the community. So I really didn't want to teach. I kind of got bullied into teaching. Now I'm moving into like an educator role. Uh, but there's so much nuance and it makes everything like make sense when you understand the nuance, then you understand how we got here. And just the situation in Hollywood with a lot of the black community not getting the funding they need to create the projects, whether you're Haitian American, African American, like, Afro Latino, Afro Caribbean, Consumed African, everybody's having a hard time getting their stuff funded. Every black person, it's not easy as a melanated African descendant. So that I think that's kind of like really where we need to be focused on. But also in the meantime, like get people to understand like the nuance of the culture, the African roots. Like there are many black people. Like we're not talking about a mixed race community. We're talking about black, actual black people. Like my father is a real black person. His father's black. He has four black grandparents. Like they're black people. And we need to, I feel like we really need to make those connections and make, understand each other. But at the same time, I also feel like the Afro Latino, Afro Caribbean community needs a space to exist, to heal. We have trauma. People still have the same trauma that they've been dealing with. We need to deal with it and we need to deal with our continental brothers and sisters and have our own stuff. Like I'm not saying we need to stop white supremacy. I don't think our energy should be there. I think our energy should be building up our own self, building up economic base. I'm in the creative economy, so through the arts and culture space is where I want to build jobs for our community and build experiences and do that stuff. But there's a place for everybody.
Word. Okay, word. I could definitely identify what you're talking about. My second question for you would be, I noticed that you do a lot of traveling, you know what I mean, and you've actually lived in Dominican Republic. You even been to Haiti or whatever. I feel like you in a search of something, man. Like you doing some soul searching. Like what like encouraged you to make that kind of traveling and
Yeah.
learn these different cultures and all that.
Yeah, totally soul searching. I really think I'm gonna be soul searching for the rest of my life, to be honest. But I left in 2019 because I really wanted to talk about uh, the Black Latino experience from the Latin American experience. Like I wanted to, because I feel like that was the root. I'm like, I can stay in the United States and focus on that experience, but that is an adapted culture. No matter where you come from the United States and you adapt to that. So it's not the same culture. Sometimes they have different views, and I align more with the Latin American politics. So that's that. But yeah, I've lived in different places. I've lived in Dominican Republic, Panama, Mexico. Like I love Mexico. I love Panama. I love República Dominicana. I think people should visit. I don't agree with the we're not going to go to Dominican Republic. I just think when you go to Dominican Republic, make it your business to support Dominican businesses. Stay at a Dominican hotel, stay at a Dominican Airbnb, buy from Dominicans, support Dominican owned businesses specifically because there's a lot of foreign businesses. And you can say that for a lot of Caribbean places. Jamaica is a big one too. They're making a lot of money, but it's not going into the community. So it's not going like they're not getting that money. So it's like go to DR and spend money with Dominicans. Um, so yeah, but I'm a traveler. Like right now, it's a little crazy. DJT he messing up the money for everybody. So it's not as easy to do the stuff, but it's like we got work to do. Everybody needs to be hands on deck. We need to be getting free and we need to be creating our own spaces. So We just don't live this crazy survival life every generation. Like it has to stop.
Now, when you went to Haiti, right? Like, yo, how you get around in Haiti? Because I know nobody out there speak English. So, is your Creole
So
game on point, or talk to me?
they don't speak no English for real. And my Spanish was not as good. I was speaking mostly in Spanish to people, like, because they speak every freaking language. So it's like, pick a language, but they was like, we don't got no English over here. Like, we don't got that one, but yeah, if I felt like when I got there, I was like, I should have moved to Haiti. Because I was like, if I had moved to Haiti, I would have been speaking Haitian Creole in 2 weeks. I would have been speaking French in 3 weeks. Like it would have been so fast. Whereas in the Dominican Republic, and this is no shade to anybody, but they're so accommodating. Like with Dominican Republic, they don't put like it's okay if they're not the center of attention. Whereas Haiti is like, oh, you don't speak Creole, go. Like it's like I can't help you. I can't help you. He's like you need to speak our stuff. Like whereas in the Dominican Republic, you don't need to speak Spanish. You'll be fine without Spanish. Like you know, but you should. But if you don't, it's doable. There's people living there. They've been living there 20 years, still don't speak no damn Spanish. You're muted. You're muted.
My bad. When you went out to Haiti or whatever, like what was the reason why you went out there? Were you trying to shoot a documentary or like?
No, I was just feeling it. I was feeling it. I was like, yo, I'm trying to go to Haiti. Like I was where I was living. I was living in La Tejana, and there was this like Dominican like hostel, actually Dominican owned. You see, I told you like Dominican spaces, right? So travelers would always go to the spot. It's called Mantis. So I don't know if she still has it, but it was a Dominican owned hostel, and they would have like breakfast every morning, and it would be like Dominican price. There wouldn't be like expensive breakfast, and it would be like little things, and it was just a community. So these people came back. These white people came back from Haiti, and everyone was like, "Yo, you went to Haiti? You went to Haiti?" Went to Haiti, and I was like, yo, I'm trying to go to Haiti, man. Like I was like, if they could go, I could go. So like crazy series of events. Suddenly, all of a sudden, I had like money for a Haiti trip, and I wanted to go during the New Year because of like Haitian Independence Day and everything. So that's how I ended up wanting to go. Is just like I wanted to go. I wanted to be there. I wanted to experience it. I had been there on like a cruise. I went to Labadee, but I wanted to have my
Hold
own
on, yo,
experience
Labadee is that island right next to where okay.
with the yeah. So, but I didn't really feel like I experienced Haiti. So I was like, I wanted to have like that experience, and I did. I had a great experience. I also got scammed. You can see it on my page. I highlight it's like the Haitian flag, and it's like I go to the border. I take people through to the border. I came in on market day, so it was crazy. It was crazy. It was selling TVs, goats, rice, I was like, now this is a market. Like, let's go shopping. Like, so that was cool. I was by myself. It was very risky. So you have to decide how you want to live your life. And make the best decisions that you can for yourself. But it was a very risky thing. I didn't think it was as risky as it was. It wasn't like this though. It wasn't like this. Like Haiti wasn't this. Now this is a different level than what it was. Like, but there were like they had taken over Milon. Is it Milon?
What are you trying to
In
pronounce
Carpathian,
location?
the
What's that?
city? Was that
No,
Milon, the
you
city?
talking about Port-au-Prince? That's what.
No, Carpathian. There's a
Okap.
city.
I think it's pronounced Okap. Okap.
Yeah,
But
well,
I know what you're talking
it
about. Yeah.
starts with a C.
What happened?
In French, well, it starts with a C. But the place I went to was Milon, I think. in
Okay.
the north. So they had taken over the citadel. So there was no like people, the normal people like from the government, from the city government wasn't there. And it was like they were just taking over, scamming people. Took $40. I was supposed to get like $20 back or 20 pesos back. I went in the thing and they were like, "Yo, girl, what are you doing?" I was like, "Bro, like but this is a budget. This is crazy right now, you guys." Like, so I was kind of upset because I was like, "Yo, the money is disappearing." Because Haiti is supposed to be cheaper than the Dominican Republic. I was like, "Oh, I did my math. It's not because of where the economy is right now. You paying more money. It's like weird math." But it's Dominican Republic is cheaper. It's cheaper to live in Dominican Republic than it is in Haiti. Like you don't. It's not easy to understand, but yeah, it was inexpensive.
Yeah, I guess because they know you not a local, they're gonna when the price is on you. I mean, DR does the same thing too. Like you go out there, they know you're not from out there. They're gonna jack
No,
up the
they
prices.
just didn't. It wasn't a jack the price. They just didn't give me my change. Like it wasn't a different price. They just didn't give me the money back. Like didn't give
Oh,
me.
okay, so you paid for something and you supposed to get some change back. They didn't give you a change back. Okay, okay,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that in Dominican Republic, that wasn't. I was getting. I got it. I got changed. Like if I bought some chicken. So that was the issue. But that's just like when times of economic stability, it's just crazy stuff like that happens. But yeah, it was a vibe. It was great. Like I loved going to the Citadel. The food was amazing. I was like so
Yo,
surprised.
so what you ate out there, like in Haiti, like
Regular food, go,
okay.
food, just regular Haitian food. I didn't get any griot. I really wanted griot. I didn't get any griot. But I had, chicken. Chicken was bomb. I had French fries. The ketchup was homemade. I'm like, this is amazing. This is cuisine. I was like, this is street food because I didn't have time to go out and eat. And this is amazing. Like, I'm like, this is, but people could tell just how you stand that you're not Haitian. Some guy was like, he spoke to me in Creole, and then he was like, "Where you from?" And I was like, "Well, I live in the Dominican Republic, but I'm from the United States. My dad's Panamanian." It's like you have to kind of tell your whole life story. He's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Everybody was like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" It's like, why wouldn't I come to the first Black Republic? Like, well, I want to see it for myself. Like, and it was such a vibe. I was like, why wouldn't I want to come here? Like, and people were like following me around. And this guy was like, "You're so inspirational to me. I feel like I can do anything." And I was like, "I'm just a Black person that came to Haiti. Like, how are y'all?" I feel like we should have a pilgrimage to Haiti to see like what it's such a big part of the Black experience, the diaspora story. It's such a big part of the diaspora story and really the world story, like if you really know, because Haiti is the reason all of Latin America was liberated because they protected Simon
Yo,
Bolivar.
hold on. So what you know about Simone Bolivar? Because he went out to Haiti to get the, you know what I mean, to get
He
that
did.
out.
He got
'Cause,
rifles. He got
back then it used to be called Grand Colombia. It was Panama, Colombia, and a few other countries put together as one nation. You know what I mean? Because when Venezuela went out there, hollered at Haiti, they hollered at the British, but the British was like, nah, we ain't helping you. So they hollered at the people from Haiti and Jacques Mel. Know what I mean? When they did that, some was like, yo, listen, I'm gonna give you, you know what I mean, I'm gonna give you the troops and all that, and I'm gonna give you the bread. All you gotta do is free the black slaves out there. You know what I mean? That Grand Columbia flag was made in Haiti, man. And shout out to Ace, man. Ace took the footage out there and all that, man. Word his ball, man. Word. Okay, you know something, man.
well, I teach a class about this. So I actually teach a class on that's called the Real Liberators, Haitians, like the Haiti as the real liberator of Latin America. Because it was Haiti, it was the Latin America, but really it was the world. Like Denmark, was it the Netherlands or Denmark? They ended slavery before the revolution. because they were so afraid of like of the fallout. So they were like, we have to free the slaves now. So they were one of the first. That was in like 1790 something. Like,
Yeah, you ain't gonna get taught that in your normal high school in America, man. They ain't teaching you that. You know what I mean?
oh, this is true. But yeah, there's a lot. There's so much there. Um, but trying to understand like the deeper meaning, like why. Like we know why, but why behind the why? And I feel like the reason that Haiti has to be in this position, because this is like a chronic thing. This is not it's chronic foreign interest, all pressure all the time. Um, but when the revolution happened, I forgot it was the king. There was a king that after years after the king surrounded Haiti, saying that they had to pay this money to France, like force them to pay. So the question is, from that moment, if you are being forced to pay for your freedom, are you truly free? And Haiti, that is in this position, is actually tells other Black nations, people use it like, oh, don't be a Haiti. Like it's like this idea of, oh, if you're too Black and if you're too free, the white people are gonna come get you. That they're gonna come get you. But on the opposite end, a free Haiti, a prosperous Haiti, is going to show to every Black country around the world that Black prosperity is totally possible, that we can do these things. And I think that's why Burkina Faso is like, Ibrahim Traore, everybody's looking at him, because it's like, okay, wait, is this sustainable? Like, do we actually have a choice in the matter? Like, can we be free? Like, or do we have to find a safe space in the Western oppression? So I feel like there's a lot of battles happening.
Now, since you like teach history or whatever, like my next question for you is: it seems like you got a strong passion for like Afro Latin history. Like, where does this passion derive from?
I guess growing up, maybe. Oh, well, yeah, I always was steeped into both of my cultures. My mom's African American, Geechee, and my dad's Panamanian, Panama Canal people. So I guess I always grew up really into both my cultures. It was like a big deal in the household, like the food, the things that we did. It was a lot of arguments, very traumatic. But because it was so much tension being African American and like Afro Panamanian, it's like I understand how to connect, polar opposites, because at the time it felt like a polar opposite, but there's so many connections to the cultures. But very, very rich, two different rich cultures.
Word, word. I could did that. Know what I mean, now, I also know you. Well, you expounded on how you did some work with Telemundo. Like, what exactly did you do for Telemundo, and what was your experience working for with that company? Well, with that media company.
Yeah, Telemundo was okay. I'll just be honest, because we have to be honest. I worked on a show called Radar Telemundo. I was a producing contributor. Like, I would produce the segments and send them the segments. So that's how we made, the television show. And I lived in different countries when I was doing this. So it was nice. It was nice because it was like ideas giving us authentic, Afro Latino stuff. Like, she's in Mexico, she's in Dominican Republic. Like, it's like it was happening. That was a cool experience, because I got to hire local people. Like, when I lived in Mexico, I actually got to hire Zapotec film crew, in that was really important to me, because in Dominican Republic, I had a hard time finding Dominicans who I could work with in La Terrena. And I was like, it does not make sense for me to be training this Russian guy. Like, when I'm doing like Afro Latino stuff, like I really want to be in the community where I can actually help and where it makes sense, and you know. So Mexico was great. I learned a lot about the indigenous community and like what indigenous is, like their mindset, like how they see things, and how it's very different from white Mexican culture. Like it is not, nothing is the same. And I learned that there were people that I thought were quote unquote extinct that I was told in school, like the Maya. Like the Maya is alive, and I wouldn't say well, but they are alive, and they are in different parts of Mexico, and they are out here fighting for their freaking lives. They are in Tulum. They've taken a lot of their lands for these developments, and but people are really fighting back, and they want their land back. So shout out to the Maya, we love you. Um, yeah, but Telemundo, the only thing with Telemundo was the pay. Like, but what I'm grateful about Telemundo is we had like an issue when Quibi went away, and I just didn't get paid for quite some time. And that's when I stopped code switching, because I was like, this is not working. They need to know that I am serious. So I sent a black email to the crew, and by Friday I was paid. And that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna be black everywhere I go, because I can't, because people are not taking me serious. They're not taking me serious with the code switching. Like, so I'm just gonna be exactly who I am all the time. But the good thing about that is I learned how to work with people and not do like a 90-day situation. Like, it's like you can get paid upon signing. You get, oh, thank you. Hey, get paid upon signing. Like, you don't have to wait till you finish the work to get paid. And that's something I think the black community like struggles with too, is like that whole money, getting paid what you're supposed to get paid on time kind of whole department. So, but it was great. I like Telemundo. I work with them on a couple things. So,
Where now, did you like get to meet a lot of people and make connections? Like, you know what I mean, working through Telemundo.
well, I've met people, but connections to do what? Like connections for, I met people.
Yeah, I mean, like when you know when you work in that kind of environment, you tend to build with people and like have good rapport with everybody, so that way,
I
because
had
you
a good,
never know who's going. You know what I mean, you never know what person's going to be
I
the
don't
next.
know. I had a good rapport, but I can't say because I worked at Telemundo that the world just opened up. You know, it didn't really lead to like, because of Telemundo next this. You know, after the show got canceled, I just stopped working for Telemundo, you know? And then I did a freelance job where they were getting hired by Telemundo, and I just worked with the third party company.
Word. Now I know that you know what I mean. You've been like where you at right now? You in Mexico or Dominican Republic?
I'm in Massachusetts right now.
You in Massachusetts? Wow, get around. But yeah, like what made you actually like go to a country that you've never been before and actually live out there? Like, what possessed you to do that?
Well, at the time, I had a really, really close friend in 2019, and my place I was living in Brooklyn at the time. It was like my roommate, whose lease it was going to move with her boyfriend. So she was like, you can see if they'll do it. I didn't really want to keep it, but then I don't know. And then they were like, oh, we're not going to be renting it out again. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be leaving. And then I was like, okay, this is happening. I'm going to have to figure that out. And then I spoke to like my friend at the time, and she was like, we need to move to Dominican Republic. She was Dominican. She was like, you're gonna be the filmmaker, I'm gonna be the activist. And we had a whole delulu. plan. Like we had a whole plan about the house and what it was gonna do and da da da. I still would love a space like that, but what happened was we could never like save enough money for what we needed to do. It was just like not working, and I was like, why is this not working? It wasn't working. It wasn't working. But for me, I in my mind had already said in November at fall I'm moving to the Dominican Republic. So in my mind, I was like, this sucks. Things are not working. But in my mind, I'm moving to the Dominican Republic. So something crazy happened, and I got in a precarious housing situation. And I was like, I'm going to do it now. So I reached out to all these Dominicans that I knew, and I asked if they knew anybody that I could like live and work for. So one person represented told me about, I think she gave me like 2 or 3 places. And of the three, 2 people I think responded, and one said, yes, I do. But this one was a white man. So it was like really interesting because I stay for like 2 months, and that was in Cabarete, and that's how I got. And I went to the Dominican Republic with $235 in my pocket. Like, so I wasn't coming with, but I was having, because I had done a production job before I left. So I was like, I know I'm gonna have $300 coming in later, and I was like, I'll figure this out. So yeah, I worked for him. He was paying $200 a month, and then you stay in the hotel for free. The hotel was like not a nice. It was an outdoor eco lodge hotel, so it wasn't like, I did have a bathroom, I had plumbing, but it was like having a room, no kitchen or anything. But the food, I lost 11 pounds the first month eating Dominican food and not even having a diet. Like, and it was like kind of crazy. It was like, this is kind of crazy. Like, and I didn't even know I had the weight to lose. So just being there and like being on the beach, smelling the air, eating like fresh, like the chicken, the same chicken was running around as the chicken I would eat it. So it was very nice. Like, I love DR. There's a lot of Black history. The people are good. I also had a very good experience because even though I'm Black, I'm not necessarily dark skinned in the eyes of a Dominican. So I think there's a privilege there because I was expected to be like not, I was like, I'm no worries though. But it was really interesting. It was really interesting.
Yo, did you see any like injustice towards the Dominicans against the Haitians out there?
In terms of injustice, the one thing that I saw specifically, this is like probably not going to be a big thing to you, but I was at the bank waiting, and this little like family, it was like a mom and a daughter, and they were Haitian. And the little girl, she was watching like these white Spanish kids on YouTube. It was like a YouTube show. And I was like, why is she watching that? Like, she needs to be watching something with little brown girls. But I remember the security guard, I think she was moving around and he was like, sit down. Like, and I was like, are you doing that because they're Haitian? But he could have been doing that just because he was like, sit your ass down, little kid. And that was the only time I was like, I wonder if he's being harsher on this, because she's being a kid. But I didn't, it's very complicated. I don't want to say it's complicated because people would
Hold on. You kind of like
listen.
downplaying it, man. The colorism out there is real, man. That big
Anti-Blackness. It's like, I wouldn't. You can say colorism, but the thing about it depends on where you go, and it depends on the town. Because the town I was living in was interesting. It was a small town, but everybody knew each other. But people did not deal with certain people. So I was with everybody, talking to Dominicans, talking to Haitians, talking to expats, American. Like, I'm in all the circles, and seeing everybody getting all their business. Um, but I remember one time, because I sell Haitian art from people who live in the Dominican Republic, and the concho guys tend to be the motoconcho, the little motorcycle that takes you where you need to go. They tend to be Dominican. Like, I didn't really meet a lot of Haitian conchos. So my concho guy was Dominican, and he was taking me to my Haitian artist. There was some kind, I forgot what happened, but at some point I got confused with something. I was like, what is this? Some cultural confusion. And they both were trying to explain it to me. And like, there was a moment that they had where they were like, okay, you're cool. It's like, you're cool. And I'm like, and they're like, what's your name? And I'm like, you don't know his name? How you don't know each other? How you live here your whole life? You don't know this guy is cool. And you don't know, and it's
I
like,
can answer that question, man. Now I mean, like, yo, not all Dominicans, but most Dominicans got a deep hatred towards, you know what I mean, black people and especially Haitians, man. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna hit you up with this next question. Now I mean, since you a history teacher and all that. Now, do you think Rafael Trujillo is a byproduct of colorism? And if so, break down the science on that. Talk to me.
okay, I actually have a class on this coming June 16th at 7:30. Sign up on my Instagram. So we are talking about the connection between Trujillo's reign, his time, anti-blackness, but also that connection from him growing up in essentially Jim Crow Dominican Republic.
Yo, don't leave out that he was a Haitian himself, man. You know what I
No,
mean?
but I'm trying to just say, like, he grew up during the American invasion. So in this American invasion, I define it as quasi slave life, because they had overseers, they were having sugar plantations. A lot of Haitian people were in the sugar plantations getting whipped. That was one of the punishments, getting whipped with a whip. And he was a part of that system because at one point he had a job doing that as an overseer in a sugar plantation. Um, he also was insecure about his skin complexion because he had freckles. He had skin that you only have that black people have. Like, because it's like the way his face was, it's like, okay, like he's a Creole looking guy, but he's still very, very, very fair. But yeah, he was Haitian on his mom's side. He was Haitian on his mom's side, and I revealed that he's related to Toussaint Louverture. But there are some people who are contesting that history. They are contesting that he specifically is a descendant. So we're going to be doing an investigation to see, is he a descendant of Toussaint Louverture? Because what is that? So I have a genealogist who's actually, we're going to talk about that soon.
Word is born. Now you mentioned that you sell like art, like Haitian art stuff. So how often when you was out there, like did you sell a whole boatload of artwork out there, or there was not really that much traction of selling a lot of artwork down there? And like, yo, who were your consumers? It had to be like rich folks, right?
Crazy story. It happened so crazy. I started selling art because I was looking for art. And then I shared it with my audience and they were like, we want art too. Like, and the art is so freaking amazing and so beautiful. It's everybody wanted a piece of it. And I was like selling art for like 4 days straight and just literally selling art. Like literally selling art for 4 days straight. And the consumers were like the United States, and like there was one person in the UK, but I had to cancel her order because she didn't get it. But we want to do more international, and I'm working on my website right now, and you'll be able to buy from the blacktinamedia.com website.
Word, word. Now my next question is for you, right? What's your thoughts on skin bleaching in the Caribbean, especially that dude Sammy Sosa? Do you think that's a ripple effect from colorism coming from the Dominican Republic? Because he's a Dominican cat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, it's really state sponsored anti blackness. More than one person did this, and that's why we're talking about a system. We're talking about little black girls getting sent home and them telling her she can't come to school because she just went natural. So it's not like one thing, it's like across the board. Black people are not supposed to exist and black things are not supposed to exist. So a proud black person is seen as a threat, many times. And it's seen as like, oh, you're not really Dominican because real Dominicans aren't black. You must be Haitian. So that's so when you're talking about skin bleaching.
Yo, hold on. Y'all explain to the people, to my audience, on how when a Dominican or fair skinned Dominican cat see a dark skinned cat, they're gonna assume that he's a Haitian. But not only that, they use the word Haitiano for an insult to
Yeah.
disparage that individual character. Yo, break down the science on that, on why they use the word Haitiano for a dark skinned nigga out there. Talk to me.
Okay, so that was really interesting when I learned people were using Haitian as a slur, like to the point where white expats would call people Haitian. And white people love to take these slurs to the next level. But that was really kind of crazy. And I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand it. But basically, you can be called Haitian as to say that you are less than, because remember, there's no black people in the Dominican Republic. This is not a black country, and we don't have that over here. Police will take a little black boy and they'll shave his head if he's wearing locks, if he's wearing an afro, if he's having like, because the kids have different stuff that they do. The police will come and shave their head and say that Dominicans don't have that. Right. So, yes, there are black people, but they are basically under siege. Like, you can't be proud of your blackness. And the state sponsored anti blackness, which I'm calling it, the result is like essentially like terrorism for black people in the Dominican Republic every day. And black is supposed to equal Haitian. And look at how they treat the Haitians. So really it's about making sure the Dominican citizens stay in their place. You can't go nowhere. You don't have no allies. Oh, you need to get paid more, because we never talk about pay disparity. When we're talking about Dominican Republic, what is it? The same conversation over and over. We don't talk about how the girls are not protected. We don't talk about the stuff affecting people every day. Even though this is a big issue because Dominicans of Haitian descent in 2017 lost their citizenship, making thousands of people, if not millions, stateless. I don't know if it was millions, but a lot of people were stateless because of that, and it's an issue. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from.
We got a question in the chat. They want to know. I guess what we're expounding on right now. They want to know if that was the reason why the island was split.
Oh snap! I hold on. Wow, like I didn't even know all of this in the chat. Hey. Okay, so can you repeat that question again?
They want to know. And shout out to you, Raz girl. Uh, they want to know, is that the like what we were just talking about?
Yeah.
Like, is they want to know if that's the reason why the island was split. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's a great question. So when we talk about Dominican Independence Day, FYI, I'm not Dominican. I've just lived in the Dominican Republic. And if you want to know deeper stuff about this, Encultured Co. is an organization on healing the island, and they have some really big people in the Dominican history story who are leading that. So definitely Encultured Co. Check them out. Why the island was split. Remember when you talk about Dominican Independence Day, do you know what that day celebrates?
Enlighten me. I want to learn.
Okay. That date celebrates the day the Dominican Republic separated from Haiti. Because before that, it was one island, and it was kind of supposed to be the goal was like, it's this beacon of freedom for Black people. All the Black people can come in here and you can be safe. So there were Black people coming from Trinidad,
It was
coming from,
called
it
Ala Española.
was called Haiti
Nah, when Christopher Columbus
or
came
Haiti.
through, it was considered to be one
No,
island.
I'm talking
Considered
about
okay.
1804.
Oh,
1804.
okay. You talking about the
I'm talking about
independence?
1804.
All right.
Yeah, because 1844 is when the separation of Dominican Republic, and that's when it actually became a republic from Haiti. But Haiti did not enslave people. The enslavement was coming from colonial Spain. So remember, Dominicans they do not celebrate the abolition from slavery, because
Well,
if they celebrated
when
independence,
that happened, though, the Black Dominicans holler at the Haitians to come through to help them because the Spaniard they got freed the first time, right? But there was a second round where
yeah,
the Spaniards wanted to oppress them again and put them back into bondage, but the Black Dominicans wasn't having it, so they went to go holler at more Haitians to come back for the second time. Know what I mean?
I'm talking about 1804 right now, though.
Yeah, but you was expounding on 1844 too. Know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm saying if they were to celebrate the abolition of slavery, it would be 1804, because that was the date. Okay, but I'm trying to think. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that was the date slavery was supposed to be abolished for the entire island, because it wasn't just we're going to be free over here while they're slaves.
Yeah, that's why Haiti got the deed.
Okay, yeah. So, but forgot my point. But yeah. But wait, why the island split? So the island split behind money, really. Like the side on the DER side that's now considered Dominican Republic did not want to pay France. And they were getting hit with a lot of stuff. They were getting hit with a lot of stuff. Some people saw it as an opportunity to be, you know, kind of the opposite of what Haiti was at that time. Um but yeah, at this point, people don't want it to be the one island, and that probably is what the real issue was. Is it was hard to kind of like rule one country when they had different experiences. Like when you go to Haiti, a lot of stuff is in French and Haitian Creole. When you go to the Dominican Republic, a lot of stuff is in Spanish. And it's not even just the language, it's like these different cultural nuances, and people were not on board with we're all gonna do this, we're all gonna do that. Like so I think cultural nuance, that's why I believe in cultural nuance, because that was a big issue. People felt like they were not being heard. But yeah, so, and even now, like there are some people want it to be one island. I've heard this from Dominicans. Some people don't. They're like, no, and I think it should be separate, but better working conditions, work together, work together on something that's not anti-Blackness, because they know how to work together when it's time to hurt Black people. They work very well together when it's time to hurt the Black community. So work on something else, but then that goes with the who's in control. Like, look at who's in control, and when you look at the Dominican Republic, and when you look at Haiti, some stuff is a little weird, and you look at the people and you say, okay, that's your man, that's your president, that's the president, y'all. Yeah.
I mean, it's all connected. I don't want to expound on it too much, but the whole reason why Haiti's president got clipped is because I mean they want that iridium joint. I mean, and that
Well,
land got a lot
it's
of
so much
rich
more than that. There's so like Haiti
resources out there. I
is
mean,
on such. It's not even just that. It's like there's so much wealth in Haiti. There is so much.
they want to take over that land over there, man. You heard about Blackwater going out there. You know what I mean?
This is about anti-Blackness. Yeah, right. So that's what I wouldn't say all Dominicans. I'm saying the rules. The rules around being Dominican, there are specific rules. And if it's like a test. If you don't pass the test, you're not a true Dominican. So I learned what true Dominicans are supposed to look like. But the thing is, it's a really shitty test because 90% of the population is doomed to fail that test. 90% of the population is never going to have straight hair. Like 90% of the population, like Sammy Sosa, we talk about Sammy Sosa, he is a dark-skinned man. He's not gonna, like, that skin that he got, that's what a Dominican's supposed to look like.
I want to expand on Sammy Sosa. Like, why do you think he took it to that extent where he had to bleach his skin? Like, do you think the colorism, right, within the Dominican culture is so harsh to the point where, because anytime you're considered to be Haitian or you're real dark skin, like socially, you're castrated within the social construct within that country or whatever. Like, do you think the racism and colorism is so harsh that it push somebody like a dark skinned Dominican like Sammy Sosa to bleach his skin to feel some type of to be accepted within that culture?
Well, I just want to let you know, you said bleaching was extreme. Most black spaces are bleaching. You can go find this cream anywhere. Like in Dominican Republic, people are bleaching. Haiti, people are bleaching. In Brooklyn, New York, they're bleaching. Actually, go to my YouTube channel. I do a video on this. But skin bleaching is unfortunately way more common in the Black community than you could ever imagine. So people are bleaching. People have been bleaching. Vibes Cartel, I believe, was also a big bleacher. So this is something that's already been happening. And it's because lighter skinned people, he was already famous, but it's the social circles, I guess, that, light skinned people like that, like closer to white, get accepted in, that dark skinned people are not accepted in. Even jobs, like you walk in a bank, who works there? You go, who's the janitor? Who works there? Who's the door security versus who's at the reception, you know?
Yeah, I'm aware about the Caribbean folks. I'm using the cream too, but I asked that question specifically about Sammy Sosa is because like if you dark skin in that country or you're considered to be a Haitian out there, you're gonna get treated like an animal. Know what I mean? There's even a saying. There's even a saying out there. If you speak the language Creole, you're considered to be an animal. Know what I mean?
That was actually in, yes, but also it's bad treatment, but it's sometimes you're not seeing it with your own eyes. Like they're pushing this, it comes up in ways like women not being able to get the things they need, being treated in certain spaces, even your own sometimes like looking at you kind of weird. Because I went in a store and it was like Black people, Dominican and Haitian, and they were like, like follow me around the store. Like, so it comes out in different ways. It's not always like physical violence that everybody can see. I hope that makes sense. But there was like, when I was living in La Tejana, there was a guy who was Haitian, and he was in the community, but there was like this undercurrent of he's always supposed to have, he always had like this self-deprecating humor. And they were a part of like this salsa dance group. And it was just like, I feel like he's doing that because he's supposed to, like, it's supposed to make other people feel comfortable that he knows his place. But I actually challenged people because they're like, oh, so and so's dark skin. I was like, also so and so is dark skin. Like, and they're like, and then they put their hands down and they were like, and one of the UK expats was like, I don't know why in my mind. I was like, because it's about, that's what it's about. You're supposed to think he's so much different. He's so much darker. I was like, oh yeah, dark skin. They were
But
all this.
don't you feel like most Dominicans hold the ideology of Rafael Trujillo?
No, 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 no.
I mean,
This
there'll
is
be a million Haitians out there to beg different, man. But let me get your reason why.
no. Yeah, I understand why you feel that way. I understand why you think that way. Like there's a lot of people. I was surprised when I started doing content around Trujillo, and there were people actually saying in favor of him, because what I had always learned was that he was horrible for the Dominican Republic. It was Dominicans who took him out. It wasn't even the black ones, it was the white ones. So it he was horrible to the Dominican Republic. He killed more Dominicans than Haitians. But the Dominicans, it's hard because there are no records, and the records that were destroyed, and like when he did something, it wasn't recorded. So a lot of people have these stories and they don't talk about Trujillo. They don't talk about what happened, but a lot happened, and the effects are, we feel those effects today.
Okay, okay. Um, my next question for you would be, what's your thoughts on Trump enforcing the travel ban to 56 countries now? Like, do you think Dominican Republic is next?
um I also want to talk a little bit about what she just said. I cannot believe folks are bleaching. This is deep rooted hatred. It's
Yo, go
actually,
ahead and expand on that first, and then answer my question later.
yeah, it's actually not necessarily hatred. Some people, they want to love themselves, but people, they've been like bullied into supposing to feel this way, and then when people are feeling proud about their blackness, they're bullied into feeling a different way. So I think also understand the environment. Like if you can't get a job with your skin complexion and you're getting jobs and people want to date you now, like like there, it shouldn't be like that. You should be able to get work with the way you look now. People should feel free to date who they want to date. You know. So yeah, Trump, it's unfortunate. We all had a choice. I don't think people took this thing seriously. I hope people start taking their local elections seriously, because these things are kind of avoidable if you're working in your community and you're aware of who's in your space. Like, it's unfortunate. The travel ban, I don't know. Like, there's already have I've already the places that I would visit are on the travel ban. So it's been affecting me. Um it's but it's also like, how did we get here? How did we get here to where he was even on the ballot? Like, I feel like he shouldn't have been on the ballot. And so many people have been just acting like this guy is a joke. And I hope they realize it's not funny anymore. Thank you, Roz. Yeah, it's not funny. And this is a serious thing. And my thing is, we don't have to live like this. So I'm like, what are we doing? We could live good.
Well, you know that ain't never gonna happen, man. You know what I mean? Racism is
No,
just
it can happen, and people are living good. That's the crazy thing. It's like,
uh
we don't have to live like that.
I don't know, man. Racism is a real thing, man. I mean,
I didn't say racism has to end, but the thing is, like, you can visit it. You don't have to live there.
visit where? DR?
I'm saying in terms of racism, like, I believe when it comes to liberation and Black liberation, we can have it, like, and
Listen,
we
man,
have access to it, but we have to create our own
I
spaces.
ain't gonna happen. Know what I mean, like
But if
the
you believe,
The Africans, for example, right? They don't look at us as one of them. Know what I mean,
that's not true. Like, I'm invited to Ghana this
listen, man.
winter.
I don't know where you from, but yo, racism is amongst not even just against towards light skinned niggas and all that. There's a terminology that Africans use to call us. It's called akatas. The word akata means a wild cat without a home. This is a disparaging word that they use on us that's not from the motherland You know what I mean, originally. So, you know
Did
what I mean?
somebody call you that, or is that a story you heard?
What you mean? This
Did
this this
somebody
is
call?
this
My
is this
question
ain't
is,
something made up. Like this is like for real. This
no.
is what
Did
Africans
somebody
call. This is what African call us blacks
did
from America.
somebody?
I
No,
got
my
that.
question is, did somebody call you a kata?
Nah.
So who told you that story?
What do you mean? Who told me that? I mean, there's books, articles, and no. I mean, you could Google it.
Source
You
it.
could go.
Source it. No,
You
who
could.
told
You
you
could
that
go.
story?
You could Google that. I mean, you could find it on
No,
Google,
but
man.
where did
I mean,
you get, no, but I'm asking you
ain't
where you
nobody
got,
gonna be brave enough to say that in front of my face. You know what I mean?
no, but
I mean,
where did you hear that from?
this is a terminology that most Africans use
I
towards us Black
understand, but
Americans.
where did you hear it from?
I got African friends. They let me know what it is. You know what I
So
mean?
your African friends told you that
Yeah,
this is what we call. Okay,
yeah.
that's okay. I'll hear that. I've never ever heard that. I've only been embraced by Africans, and I only know that. But I have, when I grew up, I did see a lot of African Americans bully African people, calling them African booty scratcher. I haven't experienced that. Most of the African Americans I know that have gone to the continent have only felt like their world has opened up. So Haiti
Yeah,
is a
but
part of the
you
African
gotta
thing.
understand, like, yo, slavery was invented by the African man himself. You know what I mean? You know, when the indigenous people was coming from the Middle East, coming to West Africa, phenotypically we look like them, but culturally we was totally different people, and
You
they
you
sold us
said that.
off.
Did you know slavery was actually started by the Portuguese? That's like
Nah, it
nowhere.
started in Africa, man.
Where's your source?
Yo, you could go, yo, man. You could
No,
Google this,
because
right?
I'm like, I teach. Like, bro, chattel slavery literally came from
Listen,
Portugal. Before that, it came
when
from
Solomon,
Arabs.
When King Solomon's kingdom got taken over by the Assyrians, the people from the northern tribe and the southern region had to migrate to different locations of the world. You know what I mean? Majority of them migrated to West Africa. When they landed in West Africa, the Africans took them and put them under slavery. You know what I mean? So fast forward when the Caucasians came through and politic with the children of Ham, right? They sold off they prisoners, which was the people from that side of that continent. You know what I mean? So this ain't this is all like you can look all this up. You know what I mean? This ain't something I'm making up. You know what I mean?
I'm just telling you, you're misinformed. I know,
Oh, I'm
I'm
not
sure you're getting
misinformed.
it from different
I'm
places.
not misinformed, but
I know
yeah.
there's a lot, but yeah, that's definitely misinformation because the chattel slave trade, this is documented history. It started by the Portuguese. Like, I'm like, there's no, like, we know this, we get taught this. I don't know, like, is this a biblical thing? Maybe a Christian belief system? Like, is that, because I know you are referencing the Bible, is that where that story comes from?
Nah. But we all know the Africans sold us off through the
And this is,
transatlantic slave. If you go to West Africa, you can see all the documentations out there. You could Google this stuff. This
right,
is
but
all public
that was
information. I
also,
mean,
there was also people who were tricked into sending their children there because people really believed that their kids were going to get skills from this. So that's kind of like a manipulation of the history, because whole towns were kidnapped. Like, there was wars for years to stop these people, and to say, like, that's a true manipulation of the history and of the facts. Like, to say that Black people were selling, like, there were rescue missions from Africa to get people back. Like, y'all
nah,
don't
not
talk
in West Africa, man. I thought you was a history teacher, man.
I'm telling you, I don't know where I would love, I'll cite my information. Like,
No,
I would have
you can
brought,
Google it. You can find Google's your best friend. You can find all this
right,
information
but
on Google,
there's
man.
false information in
And
Google. I'm talking about sources. Like, we have to
you're an
say,
actual history teacher. Yo, that's crazy.
yeah, you come in with a lot of YouTube, like, fairy tales right now. Like, but I get it. I know there's a lot of people who think the Holocaust didn't even exist. So I got to remember that. But no, we could agree to disagree on that one.
Yo, this is all I got for you, man. Any last word for my peoples out here?
No, and every nation a black person has frowned upon and take issue with in my lifetime. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've been in such a black world that, and then I grew up Pan-African. So I'm used to the black community like attempting to come together and attempting to connect those things. I celebrated Kwanzaa as a child every year, and it was always like special to go back to our roots and learn like where did we get this from? Where did we get that from? Even talking about Mangu and Mangusi coming from, you know, Central Congo. But I think that is an issue that we have to deal with. I think the black community, we are really splintered, and we have to figure out a way to heal together, a way to make it make sense for each other. And we can do it. We can do it.
Yo, thanks for coming through. We appreciate you coming through. It's your boy Russ signing out. Seek wisdom, practice humility, and always remain sucker free. You heard? I'm out. One.
Thanks for having me. Okay.